your images of frozen sections into paraffin equivalent, better staining ones. Would you accept that, sir?
It depends what kind of specimen we are dealing with. Suppose it's a sentinel lymph node biopsy, where I'm just going to take one or two sections, then probably that the frozen section may be representative of the final HP. But if there is a large specimens, for example, Whipple specimen which comes for cystic duct bun margin, then I need to see the entire specimen before commenting upon the final diagnosis. So yes, in few scenario, frozen sections, we do have a lot of artifact, and if they can be, do away with the help of generative AI, it's most welcome. But not in every scenario. It cannot totally, replace the final paraffin section because it's not morphology. After that, you have to do many other tests also. You have to carry out the other predictive markers, right? So, yes.
Dr. Parikshit, I want to just add one thing. As we are discussing the ethical part and everything, because we need to understand the accountability issue. Dr. Pramod, I think, is online also, he can vouch on that. Accountability means if I am using AI to which will influence my interpretation, so I will like to know what is the biases during the training and how was the training cohort and everything. And accountability, if a pathologist is using AI, maybe generative AI, where without doing IHC, you are predicting the IHC and all those. The pathologists need to understand the nitty-gritty of the AI algorithm very well. That is very important because the accountability we cannot go away with. So ethics and accountability should be part of all guidelines. Dr. Pramod can add to that.
May I speak? Am I audible? In fact, in case of generative AI, first thing is that quality of data is very important. Because in this generative AI, we use the data to mimic the real data. That is, mimicking is the main function. So for mimicking the data, the real data should be very strong quality, number one. Then each of the generative AI system, proper validation and testing is necessary, and there should be always two sets. And third thing is that pathologists should understand and interpret the generative data, because generative data is not that so clear, and that should be used only to support the decision. That is the main thing, and that should be verified. In this present situation, it should be verified by the pathologist. And in case of generating data, medical ethics, particularly patient's identity to hide, is very important. And always the performance of generative data, generative AI, should be verified. These are the 4 or 5 very important area of generative AI, because generative AI main function is the augmenting the data. Where the data is inadequate, we generate more amount of data for a robust AI system.
Thanks, sir. We keep all those things in mind while we prepare the draft guidelines, because as of now, as everybody is mentioned, there is no guideline. So regulatory framework, accountability, and the quality of data, privacy, all these issues have to be put on paper sometime, and it's high time we do that, sir. So I thank all the panelists in this session and the discussion on AI in pathology, and for sparing their valuable time and sharing their expertise with us. We move on to the next session. That is the session on radiology, which is another emerging area on this field.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all panelists again.
Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Mahajan.
Sir, thank you so much for having me here.
Welcome, Dr. Vidun Mahajan from the Mahajan Group. Sir is a entrepreneur and physician. He is the founder of Carpal.ai, which is a platform for AI solutions to test themselves and to deploy them on on healthcare issues. So that is his startup, and we also have Professor and HOD radiology in FMC Pune, Colonel Ravnesh Sahdev sir, and Group Captain Rahim sir, Senior Advisor Radio Diagnosis, along with Dr. Zul Mahajan in this session. So the first question to Sahdev sir, uh, what are the technical, ethical, and practical challenges of even if we develop an AI model today, which is very effective, very accurate, putting it in practice uh, would take across a lot of challenges. So, what do you foresee, sir? How can you overcome them?
Actually, if you see the technological challenges, most important thing is the hardware which we require. Uh, Even though there are two ways of going about it, there could be a cloud-based solutions, or you can have a standalone solutions in which you need to buy. But either way, it's a costly solution. So the cost which is involved is one of the biggest challenges. Second thing are the, as you said, the ethical issues. So when we are dealing with the ethical issues in medicine, if you are deploying anything, in this case, if you are using AI-based some softwares, the first principles which it should obey are: number one, it should do no harm. It should be beneficial to the patient. Then the autonomy. Autonomy means the patient should be able to decide whether he or she uh, should be using this software, or this software should be used on him or her. And the fourth is the justice. It should be justified. So far as the ethical issues, if you say, uh, uh, so far as the AI is concerned, all these things have to be seen whether they are being complied with or not. And the other challenges are regarding the data. The data, so far as we are concerned, the data transfer, the data security, the data piracy, the data storage, and the data final disposal. So these are the, I think, the major challenges which all the developer and users. This is a major challenge for them. And since even now we are in a very nascent stage so far as the AI is concerned, there's a lot of discussion being going out since long. And in 2019 there was a consensus guideline which has come, which again says that still we are to come a long way till we decide on how to deal with all these challenges.
So, in fact, for this session, I would like to take feedback from the end users of diagnostics as well. So, Brigadier Bhalla, sir, would you be ready to accept the report of a radiological investigation, a report which has been generated by an AI model?
See, the way clinical medicine is different from the diagnostic. I should have a basis for asking or interpreting that diagnostic imaging with what my patient shows. Now, if the reliability is as in the once it comes, we really do not know how to go about the acceptability of it. Because initially, if we have a doubt, we end up going to the radiologist and or seeing the same image on the console and confirming to ourselves that yes, what I'm seeing is fitting in with what clinically the patient is presenting, or something else has come up. If an AI model which can probably give me that same thing, and like you were talking earlier about the explainability of that model, if it can explain why it is saying this, whereas my thinking process on a different axis, then probably the acceptability would be better. Here, it is not a, it's not an, clinical medicine is not absolute blacks and whites. Here, there's so many things which we interpret, which we feel should be look like I should be interpreting it, that same image as this, which is fitting it with my clinical profile of the patient. But the radiological diagnosis may be different. So I go back to the radiologist, we discuss it out, we see that we look at the images and come to a diagnosis. So that But if is available, probably the acceptability of that AI report may be there.
So it needs to be explainable as of now, at least to gain trust of clinicians. Otherwise, if it gives black box reports, very soon, I've seen it happen that clinicians lose trust in it and then they stop using it, and that's the end of it. Usually, all AI products that come to market have this story. So, Dr. Vidur must have some say on this because he is the one who tests AI models. And so, sir, what has your experience been like? Is radiological interpretation by AI models acceptable among doctors, and what do we need to do further?
No, thank you so much sir, for the question, and thank you for having me as part of this discussion. Uh, see, the challenge with answering that question is that we have to take a time point because AI is such a fast evolving field. So we have to take a time point and see are clinicians ready to accept AI generated reports today, or will they be 3 years from today? And to answer that question, I would like to maybe share one aspect of definition of AI. What is AI? And then maybe answer that question. So AI, of course, there are many definitions out there. The one that I find most intriguing is that AI is whatever machines can't do yet. So it is actually a moving target, the definition of AI. So, for example, many of the MRI machines and CT scanners sold today on the market use AI-based techniques to go from raw data to type, right? And nobody even cares about it. GE is the only company that calls it out explicitly. They call it the Air series, AI Recon series. So there are, and then radiologists use all sorts of workstations, all sorts of 3D post processing, and all of that to create uh, data that helps them make a report faster. So AI is very much part of the practice today. It's just that we don't think of it. Now, coming to the question around AI generated reports. Well, the fact is today that the WHO has approved AI based tuberculosis screening in the absence of a human radiologist. Autonomous AI based TB screening on chest X-ray. The European CE has approved amazing application for normal chest X-ray reporting. Again, it's chest X-ray because it is the most pervasive, but normal chest X-ray reporting automatically, autonomously, is allowed by the European CE for this one application called Oxybrid. Of course, the liability still remains with the radiologist. The sign out still remains with the radiologist, but if it is not illegal to use such an application. Thirdly, there is a FDA approval that has been given recently to an automatic sign MRI reporting system. Again, it is not autonomous in that regard. Radiologist still has to review the reports, radiologist still has to sign out. So there is certainly a trend towards it. Uh, the interesting piece is why do we need the radiologist sign off, right? Essentially, if we look at a parallel world, which we were discussing just before this session, of lab medicine and pathology, 95% of immunochemistry, hematology, biochemistry is done automatically. You put in a blood sample, you get out a number. It is just you have the safety mechanisms in place. You have the control systems in place that allow you to know whether at patient level or at aggregate level there is a mistake that is being made or there is a questionable output there. And hence, most cases are reviewed on a slide or by a human, and therefore one ensures an accurate report. Now, why is this not possible in radiology AI today? It is a technological issue of deep learning fundamentally being unable to determine in advance whether it will be right or wrong on a particular data set. So, for example, in a deep learning system, we have seen deep learning systems make very unpredictable mistakes. They will miss a 5 centimeter mass, but pick up a half a centimeter nodule on a chest X-ray. So this is why today, human oversight is needed. But I would also just, end by saying that one major reason why AI has not picked up up to the extent it has till now, despite the fact that we have